Welcome back to another edition of Stand on Guard. Thank you so much for joining me today. We've got so much to discuss. When we come back, do you think Justin Trudeau can really get away with it? Do you think he can escape? No, I don't believe so. And I'm going to tell you why when we come back. So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need the resolve to resist. Yes, please like the station. We really appreciate it. I don't think we're going to get the 40,000 by tomorrow night, but we're going to keep trying. Thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to a small station like this that wants to get a little larger. And your support is always appreciated. Believe me. And so what's going on with Justin Trudeau? I love this. I just love this. Jerry Butts. You remember the last time we all saw Jerry Butts? It was the SNC Lavalin inquiry. And Jerry, of course, got thrown under the bus along with Trudeau's Attorney General, Jody Wilson-Raybould, along with Jane Philpott, the health minister at the time. But Jerry was a good lieutenant to the very end. And we haven't heard much from Jerry lately. But Jerry Butts has got lots to say right now. And he's predicting that Justin Trudeau is on the verge of resigning. I think this is a huge smokescreen. I'm beginning to wonder if this whole episode with Chrystia Freeland wasn't pre-planned, if they didn't try to figure this out beforehand. This is a massive piece of acting. Why should we be surprised? Justin Trudeau is an actor. The role he's had for 9 years has been as the Canadian Prime Minister. He thinks he's doing quite well in the role. It's been a disaster, but hey, it's all about the acting job for Justin Trudeau. And he's probably figured he's done quite well. Now, Gerald Butts has written in his Substack that Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland's recent resignation from cabinet dealt Trudeau's a staggering blow that loosens his already tenuous grip on the party. I think this is all BS. I think Chrystia Freeland was playing a game along with Justin Trudeau. This is all designed to keep Canadians off guard because they know an election is imminent one way or the other. However, if it can look like Chrystia Freeland is causing division within the party, that actually is going to help Justin Trudeau. Why do you think he has spent Christmas looking victimized? It's almost like he invited that little altercation in BC the other day. Seemed to be expecting it. Seemed to be waiting for it. And I think he enjoyed it. Because he's playing the victim. As I said about his father, you've heard me say this. Pierre Trudeau had various roles he played. When the election was called, it was Pierre Trudeau, the gunslinger. And he would literally stand there, his hands by his side, like he had 2 6-shooters ready to grab. Justin Trudeau's playing the role of victim right now because he wants your sympathy. He wants to come back in January and say, look, I've had weeks over Christmas to think about this. I've been attacked by members of my own caucus, my own party. I want to do what's right for Canadians and stay on because we can't have a leadership campaign right now. I have to be there. Now, this is what Butts, he says Trudeau is unlikely to lead the party. This is Gerald Butts. into the new campaign before Freeland's stunning departure and is now much less likely to do so. Butts says it also means the next election will probably come sooner rather than later next year, and is even more likely to result in a conservative majority government. Well, duh. Just a week ago, Butts joined the Liberal Christmas Party conflab in Ottawa alongside Trudeau's longtime chief of staff and close confidant, Katie Telford. Butts says if Trudeau does not step down, the party should hold a leadership race. Do you think they're in good stead, these two? I don't. I think Butts is clearly on the outs. Justin Trudeau hasn't got the time of day for him. And Butts is freelancing here completely. This is all about what Jerry Butts would like to see happen because he'd like to see Trudeau punished. Now, a little bit more here. The advice is worth what you pay for, but if you've read through the point, if, as is now widely expected, Mr. Trudeau's resignation is imminent, according to Butts, the only way forward is a real leadership race. I respect and admire my friend Eddie Goldenberg, but I couldn't disagree more with his argument that Liberals should capitalize on the sensation generated by Ms. Freeland's resignation to anoint her or anyone else as leader. It will confirm Canadians' worst instincts about the party. There's no time for democracy. Is a tell of an argument, or do they mean a hell of an argument? That's a very good question. One more slide here. Yes, Trudeau was unlikely to lead the Liberal Party into the next election and is now much less likely to do so. The election will probably come sooner rather than later. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you why that's not going to happen. But first of all, let's just see how the cracks continue to come and why I think this could actually play into Justin Trudeau's plan. This could actually be beneficial to Justin Trudeau. And nobody else is actually thinking this because they really don't believe Justin Trudeau is as mendacious, as conniving, as amoral as he really is. Let's listen to this.
There's more political turmoil for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The Atlantic Liberal Caucus is now calling on him to step down as party leader. MPs sent a letter to Trudeau following a caucus meeting Monday, asking him to resign. Mackenzie Gray is following developments in Ottawa. Mackenzie?
Well, and the Liberal caucus might have been inspired by the end of the Canada Post strike because they just can't seem to stop writing letters to the Prime Minister. And no, they are not pleasant Christmas cards. The latest group to publicly call for him to quit, the Atlantic Caucus. We reported last week they met to discuss Justin Trudeau's future, and Wayne Long, one of the most outspoken Liberals, has posted a letter that was sent to Trudeau after the meeting. Simply put, time is of the essence, and our caucus is of the view that it is not tenable for you to remain as leader, wrote Atlantic Caucus Chair Cody Blows. We're confident that you will accept our request and preserve your legacy. Issues with Atlantic MPs have dated back over a year, and Trudeau tried to smooth some of them over by taking off the carbon tax on home heating oil, which is widely used in Atlantic Canada, a move that was welcomed.
But ultimately, these types of announcements that are being made today is the prerogative of the Prime Minister. And Prime Minister, on behalf of our caucus, I want to say thank you for listening to our feedback, but also showing vision.
Global investors.
Turns out that vision might have been one of the death kneels of the Liberal government. It left a gaping hole in their signature policy, the carbon tax, which the Conservatives have exploited, now ahead in the polls by 25 points. And it's that gap with Pierre Poilievre that has Atlantic and Ontario MPs wanting Trudeau to leave, which, if you add them all up, Anne, now shows a clear majority of Liberals.
Okay. So there's a clear majority of Liberals in the caucus who want Justin Trudeau to go. It means absolutely nothing because Justin Trudeau can ignore them. And unless they all want to resign their seats, unless they all want to lose an election, they have to stay put. And nothing is really going to change anytime soon. And what makes anybody in the Liberal caucus or the Liberal Party think that Chrystia Freeland is suddenly the answer? Or Melanie Joly is the answer, or champagne is the answer, or Mark Miller is the answer. All of these people were polling at under 10%, some of them at 5% support. And you know, I'm sorry, but that's not enough to win a leadership race, even as immensely unpopular as Justin Trudeau is. Now, listen to the end of this, and I'll tell you what I think is going to happen.
Telling Trudeau he has to quit.
So, Mackenzie, could the Liberal caucus make history by appointing an interim leader?
So the letter does talk about trying to have caucus pick an interim leader and saying they'd get the ball rolling in January if Trudeau doesn't quit. But it is important to note there is no mechanism for anyone that can force Trudeau out. If he's quitting, he has to come to that decision on his own. There's also never been an
calling on him to step down as party.
Atlantic and Ontario MPs wanting Trudeau ball rolling in January if Trudeau doesn't quit.
Caucus make history by appointing an interim leader.
So the letter does talk about trying to have caucus pick an interim leader and saying they'd get the ball rolling in January if Trudeau doesn't quit. But it is important to note there is no mechanism for anyone that can force Trudeau out. If he's quitting, he has to come to that decision on his own.
And this is what I've been saying for months. There's no way the Liberal caucus can get rid of him. There's no way to initiate a leadership review. The Liberals got rid of that when they made Justin Trudeau their king. That's exactly what happened. When the Sun King took over the Liberal Party, just before he took over Canada, he ensured that there was no way his caucus, his cabinet, or even his party could get rid of him until he's good and ready to go. Now, what do you think is going to happen when they come back? And this is the point I really want to make, is we cannot allow, well, let's just listen to the rest of this and I'll get into what I think is the guts of the issue here.
There's also never been an interim prime minister in Canadian history before, and now would be a particularly challenging time to have someone come in with the threat of 25% tariffs looming over Canada. If Trudeau does quit, the most likely scenario would be for Parliament to be prorogued, a Liberal leadership race would be announced, and he would officially leave as PM once a new leader is picked. A situation that looks increasingly more likely, Anne, with more MPs calling for Trudeau to leave with each passing day.
Mackenzie Gray in Ottawa, thank you.
All right, do you think there's any justice there? Do you think Trudeau should be allowed an escape hatch like that, even if he doesn't take it? But what really gets me angry about this is that if Trudeau does decide to quit, if he does resign, the Liberals get to parade their mediocrities, like Freeland and the rest of them, for months in a leadership race, while the country continues to go to hell. We continue to have the pressing problem with the United States, and you can bet border security is not going to be a top issue with any of these leadership candidates, Dominic LeBlanc included. He will be one. Chrystia Freeland, Melanie Joly, none of them give a damn about border security. The 25% tariffs will come. They're going to be devastating to the Canadian economy. The taxes will stay in place. Nothing is going to change during this leadership race. Canada will continue to decline. We can't allow this to happen. This is why Pierre Poilievre's idea of recalling not all of Parliament, but the committee that can get a non-confidence vote positioned and ready to go so that when they come back on January 27th, a non-confidence motion is possible. Now, I know some of you are saying, Jagmeet Singh won't go for that because it's his pension. I've done the arithmetic. He will be a member of Parliament until he's defeated in the next federal election, which is highly, highly likely. So, if that election is called, say, February 1st, the election will not occur until probably the second week of March, which will give Jagmeet Singh adequate time to stay as an MP to collect his pension. And that's how incredibly base this is. It's all about Jagmeet Singh getting his pension and the timing being okay for that. But we need the non-confidence vote to go through as quickly as possible so Trudeau cannot prorogue Parliament, cannot resign, cannot have a leadership race while the country continues to deteriorate and Justin Trudeau walks off undefeated. And if he decides he's not going to run again, which I still think is unlikely, I still think he wants one more kick at the can to lead his party into another federal election. But if he decides over Christmas, I'm leaving, it's going to be because he knows he's going to lose the next election and he wants to retire from politics undefeated. That's what this is all about for Justin Trudeau. We can't allow him to have that luxury. We can't allow the Liberal Party of Canada to carry on this farce of a leadership campaign while the country continues to go to hell. Let's listen to how the Americans are seeing this right now. You know how Donald Trump is viewing this. But how are some of the YouTubers talking about Justin Trudeau?
Justin Trudeau,
governor.
Rumors were spreading yesterday that he may be stepping down and resigning. So there's two clips up here, Rob. If you can play the other one where he's in the House. I don't know if you have the one. No, it's not this one. But go ahead and play this clip. This will tell us a little bit, and then I'll send you the other clip. Go for it.
Mr. Trudeau is being held in office by one man, Jagmeet Singh. A fifth of Liberal MPs have written a letter for him to resign. His deputy prime minister has walked out on him. His housing minister has quit. That on top of numerous other female ministers who stormed out after his appalling mistreatment and abuse and dishonesty towards them. 80% of Canadians have lost confidence in this Prime Minister. So why is Jagmeet Singh making the entire country wait for him to get his pension? That is the question today.
There you go. And by the way, the other clip he's talking about the fellow is this guy, right? That's keeping him in?
Yes.
Go for it. Go ahead, Rob.
Today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
Oh, wow.
Right now, Canadians are struggling with the cost of living. I hear it everywhere I go. People cannot find a home that they can afford. They can't buy their groceries. And on top of that, we have Trump threatening tariffs at 25%, which...
Of course, we can't find an NDP leader we can afford either. This guy is just so incredibly mercenary. But it's obvious to everybody what's going on with this. And that's why I say the arithmetic will finally be there for Jagmeet Singh when Parliament comes back on January 27th. How long is an election campaign? At least 5 weeks.
Which put hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs at risk. And instead of focusing on these issues, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused on themselves. They're fighting themselves instead of fighting for Canadians. And for that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
Tom.
So I'll give Americans a quick little history lesson. 2020, we know what happened in our election over here. Biden defeated Trump narrowly amidst COVID and all the stuff that was going on. In 2021, Justin Trudeau won 39% Liberal, 36% Conservative. And now remember, Canadians, if you go up there, you'll see orange signs, white signs, green signs, blue signs. You know, over in America, you see red and blue. They have 4 very, very viable parties and 2 small ones. And so it was 39% Liberal, 36% Conservative. So in other words, Justin Trudeau in 2021 barely stepped across the line, right? Barely stepped across the line. And now he is looking, the polling is looking like he is going to take the greatest defeat in Canadian political national election history. All the polls up there, even the ones that are lying, are pointing to that. And on top of it, the economy is tight. Special elections are happening. Why do you have a special election? Well, you have a special election because someone dies or resigns or something happens and there's an open seat. So you got to have a special election. There was a special election recently. It went 66% conservative, 19% liberal. So forget about the polls. You look at little things like that. Justin Trudeau is about to be thrown right out the front door of the Canadian Parliament. And then He's talking about Chrystia Freeland, who is the finance minister who pledges her support to Justin Trudeau. And now she quit yesterday. So now Trudeau is on the edge of a big defeat, and everyone has lost confidence in his ability to govern at a time where someone in the U.S. got their attention when Trudeau came down to have dinner with him. Weird. And it didn't go very far. And then they're humiliated. They have a lot of pride of Canadians, and they should have pride in their country, right? How would you feel if your guy goes out to visit a foreign leader right next door at a time where the rest of the world's trying to play nice and try to get his attention, and suddenly he comes back, and all of a sudden he's saying, well, I think we'll just tariff Canada the 25%. I didn't get anywhere from Governor Trudeau. Maybe he should be the 51st state. How does it make you feel as a Canadian member of parliament? You say, why did you make Trump tease us like this? Justin, what the hell did you do? So that's what's going on. He's about to suffer a huge defeat. They're like, you're going to get crushed anyway. Let's not wait for the election. Why don't you resign? Let's elect a new prime minister. This is going to be a more conservative government that we have here. And let's talk to the United States about fairness in our trading so that we don't have the tariffs happen. That is what the moderates are saying, Pat. Let's get a dialogue with the U.S. and not have these things come true, because Canadian papers, I could pull one, Rob, you don't have to look for it, but it's out there. They had a little thing that said days until inauguration. Why are they saying that? Because they regard that, Pat, as a countdown to negotiate the tariff situation. So guess who's negotiating well for the U.S., and guess who's got the Canadian attention? And they are all running amok, and Justin Trudeau is about to, what did you guys say? You heard him say, he's just delaying the time to get his what? Pension. He said it there, because Trudeau will get a prime minister's pension to go off to retirement. But ladies and gentlemen, that's what's happening in Canada. They're all in a tizzy for their own economy, their own government, and our president got their attention on tariffs, and they're actually counting down the days.
Got it.
In
And
their
by the way,
own
this
newspaper.
is Trump tweeting yesterday, not tweeting, Truth Social. The great state of Canada stunned as the finance minister resigns or was fired from her position by Governor Justin Trudeau. Her behavior was totally toxic and not at all conducive to making deals which are good for very unhappy citizens of Canada. She will not be missed. I mean, this guy has no hesitation when it comes down to gamesmanship like that. And you're seeing Canadians sitting there saying, man, that 25% is going to really be affecting us. Adam, your thoughts on the story?
Well, look, Justin Trudeau is a dead man walking. We've all heard about lame duck presidencies. This guy's the lame duck prime minister. And I'm going to give you some stats, and I'm going to give you a sort of
Lame duck prime minister, dead man walking. That's the takeaway from this interview. But I have to say again, the only solution for Canada and for Canadians is to have a snap election in February or early March. Because we cannot have this prolonged period of Justin Trudeau saying goodbye, which, if he decides to leave, he will want. Once again, I think he wants to stay on and fight because he's that delusional. But if he doesn't, if he resigns, it's bad news for Canada. We can't have it. Now, these folks who you're just listening to don't seem to be aware that we can't just rush into an election as soon as Trudeau resigns. The Liberal Party reserves the right to find a new leader. We don't have time for that. We don't have time to play games with Justin Trudeau or the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party has taken Canada to the precipice of hell. We have to demand it's over. We need an election. Justin Trudeau should be at the front of that party, and he should take the electoral drubbing of his life and of the life of any Liberal leader or any political leader in federal politics in history. Justin Trudeau deserves that much. And there should be no escape hatch for him. There should be no back door where he can get out and some other Liberal gets put in there. Because, as I said, there's not enough time. And this is why we have to support Poilievre's proposal here And if the committee has to sit through January to get this non-confidence motion in front of Parliament when they come back on January 27th, so be it. But that's what has to happen. Because nothing else is good enough for the country right now. Quick note here. Another couple of days, 15% off everything in the store until midnight, December 31st. Also want to announce I'll be doing more work on this show in the new year. Hopefully doing 2 broadcasts a day, doing more original journalism, because I'm no longer doing full-time work at the Post Millennial. I want to spend more time with this station, more time with you, more time doing the original reporting I often do for the new media, for this media. And that's where I want to be in 2025. And I hope I continue to get more support in the future and continued support from all of you.
Ho, 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 ho!
We'll be back again tomorrow with all the news you need to know, and let's all continue to resolve to resist.